This here is Boom Studios Go-Go Power Rangers comic issue number 29. It begins with the Rangers mid-battle on another mission. So Tommy is now the leader, as we all know. This shows us how the Rangers cope under Tommy's leadership. The monster depicted in this battle is the gunmetal kettle, Earl Grey Matter, who happens to have the putties backing him up. Earl Grey Matter launches an attack using his gunmetal kettle, which lands a direct hit on Tommy. It's liquid which temporarily paralyzes Tommy, leaving the core 5 Rangers the only ones able to fight properly. Jason tells the Rangers to change tactics by getting Tommy to keep the putties busy, whilst the Rangers keep from a distance as they assemble the Power Blaster. They then proceed to destroy Earl Grey Matter, although we don't actually get to see that, except for the reflection in Tommy's visor, showing the blaster being fired. Saber says he thought Tommy was the one in charge. As the Rangers debrief at the command center, Tommy's beating himself up because he screwed up by sending the Rangers in too early and not keeping a distance as Billy suggested. Zordon tells Tommy that regardless of him messing up, the Rangers defeated the monster and tragedy was averted. After Tommy leaves, we finally get an apology from Zordon to Jason over the change in leadership. He acknowledges it was a mistake and tells Jason that they need Tommy as the leader because his power is the strongest connection to the Morphin Grid, and by making Tommy leader, he'll unlock his full potential, just like Jason did as leader. Zordon is about to revoke Tommy's leadership, but Jason stops him, saying that Tommy will eventually rise to the occasion. Zack is embarrassed by the fact that a teapot monster fought them and nearly defeated them. Trini also reflects negatively on the battle by saying that they fought way worse and fared better. Trini and Zack definitely have their doubts about Tommy and they're very critical. Obviously it's because they know they're leaving the team soon and they want Tommy to be ready for when they're gone. Kimberly asks if the Rangers wonder how much weirder Lord Zed's monsters are getting. There's a reason why a teapot monster was created. It was made purely as a distraction. Whilst Earl Grey Matter was fighting the Rangers, Squat and Babu were on a reconnaissance mission. They hand Zed a crystal which has ties to Grace Sterling. That's because the crystal contains a holographic blueprint of Promethea. Zed's impressed by what Grace has accomplished, but he wonders why one room is hidden. He then gets Finster to create a monster which can penetrate Promethea's defenses to find out what's in that hidden room. With Jason's imminent departure fast approaching, we see him trying to get his dad to eat something. His dad is rotting away, but he doesn't want Jason to worry. He says Jason will be of more help if he's not doting on him and leaving laundry everywhere. It must be a lot for Jason knowing he's going to leave his sick dad in order to save the universe. At the youth centre, Billy brings up the peace conference in Switzerland. So, this is the cover story Jason, Zack and Trini will employ to explain why they're leaving the Mighty Morphin team. The three of them then lie to Billy and Kimberly, saying that they're going scuba diving and need to leave immediately. Zack tells Billy that he asked him about it weeks ago, but Billy said that he had research to do and Kimberly and Tommy were going to be Kimberly and Tommy. Although Kimberly buys that story, it's obvious from Billy and Kimberly's faces that they feel left out. Once Jason, Zack and Trini are out of sight, they are teleported onto a ship in outer space. This is the Spectrum, the ship the Omega Rangers end up using in the main Power Rangers comic. This is the first time the Rangers step foot on the ship, and it is also here that they meet the emissary's assistant and navigator, C. He was a former caretaker unit at Eternity Point, and had been upgraded with several modifications, but the emissary didn't bother to give him a pleasant personality like Alpha. The Rangers are aboard the Spectrum because they're departing immediately on their first mission. C pinpointed a cluster of morphin energy in a different solar system, so they're heading out to investigate. Bearing in mind that this is another solar system, Trini asks if this will take years to travel to. C tells her that human theories on space travel are adorable, but the Spectrum can traverse space and time in ways humans can't imagine. On to the topic of the other Rangers, and Trini's worried that if Zed attacks Earth, they won't be able to go back in time to help. Jason says Tommy, Billy and Kimberly will be able to handle anything, but Zack isn't sure of Tommy. The three of them alone can't even form a Megazord. Jason mentions forming a new team, which prompts Trini to ask who they're going to choose. Friends or strangers? Back on the moon, we see the monster Finster's created to infiltrate Promethea. It's the Hodgepodge Hedgehog. Zed is not impressed as he considers it an ugly stuffed animal mashed with parts left over from other failures. Vincent tries to explain what Hodgepodge Hedgehog is capable of, but Zed attacks it. The monster is able to block the attack though. Vincent continues explaining to Zed what the monster is equipped with and points to an extra surprise for the Rangers. Zed is now interested, although we as the readers can't see what the surprise is. Looking at the angle, I have to say it looks dodgy. Aboard the Spectrum, the Rangers have arrived at their destination. The inhabitants of the planet are pre-industrial and they're aggressive and territorial in nature. C teleports the Rangers down to the planet and they see a mob attacking an individual. The Rangers determine that the individual is exactly who they're looking for. Zack says not to forget what C and the emissary warned them about, that they could be risking their necks for one of the bad guys. And that's exactly what's happening here, as the individual they're rescuing is none other than Kia, the future Blue Omega Ranger, who of course turns out to be evil. That brings us to the end of this issue. We're nearing the end of Go-Go Power Rangers as a series, which is a bit of a shame as this is my favourite series. Jason, Zack and Trini have already embarked on their first mission, albeit still as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I look forward to seeing how Jason, Zack and Trini pick Rocky, Adam and Aisha as the new Rangers in this timeline. I really liked how Zordon admitted he was wrong in making Tommy the new leader. The TV series made the change because Austin St. John, Walter Jones and Tui Trang were leaving the series. So I like here how Zordon explained that Tommy does have the strongest powers on Earth, but needs to be the leader to achieve his full potential. It's also a bonus seeing Jason stand up for Tommy being leader, because even though Zordon knows he made a mistake, Jason wants to give Tommy a chance to step up once Jason leaves for good.